Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. If I sound a little out of breath, it's because I've been chasing around the cats, getting them the catnip they were asking for. And getting lunch going all at the same time. All right. So let's go ahead, take a look at what these beautiful tea leaves have to say. My goodness, we have some really prominent formations here today. So our card is the Prince of Discs. And as we know, the Prince, Princess in the Thoth deck, which would be Page for Princess and Knight for the Prince. These are kind of the younger energies of whatever their suit is related to, the element, and the discs are earth, material matters, money, making resources, having access to resources, also implementing, your resolve to material matters. So learning to work hard, going to school, creating a business for yourself, creating a career for yourself, opportunities, building. I always like to think of kind of building the house of your life, right? Really in this Prince place, we are working on kind of those foundational things. But the Prince is unrefined, right? Getting close to, but you would think of a prince as being somebody maybe who's like in college, a teenage, late teens, into their early adulthood, still learning the ropes. So we'll see what this has to do with this, with these formations here today. Let me get my hair out of the way. I forgot to pin my hair up. My hair is very long, so it likes to get into things. All right, so we have, and I see, I was trying to decide, is this a dog or is this like a deer? And to me, it looks like a young deer with a person riding on it. So I think of somebody having a kind of sacred, holy, spiritual event, right? Maybe this is one of the first profound, very confronting, obviously something out of the ordinary. You could see this, or you could liken this to a rite of passage, or maybe witnessing something. We hear about when somebody has somebody they love pass, right? And they have a visitation in a dream the night before. They dream or kind of come into a waking state, and they see their loved one like standing at the end of their bed, right? Telling them it's okay. And then they find out, okay, my, grandmother, grandfather, mom, dad, somebody passed away. But they could have sworn that they had just, visited them. So these are the kinds of this doesn't have to be exactly what happens, but these are the kind of very profound experiences that I'm talking about. Something Or, you know, maybe a real awakening. You know, if you can remember the first time you kind of realized there was something beneath all of this, right? You started to think like maybe things aren't always as they seem. You know, reality is not concrete. And that can be a profound shift. It can be destabilizing as well. But I think that, you know, for you, a Cancer, you're not far from those waters of creativity, of life, of that unconscious place. So I almost think that most Cancers start to experience magic, psychic phenomena as a younger person. It might not be identified as that, but I feel like I have to say most Cancers I've ever met were already magicians in their adolescence, right? If that's what they identify as or not. But they are world creators, very creative beings. So I feel that with a person riding on the sacred deer, and it almost looks like we have Hermes, right? With the little hat and the little kind of wing off the hat. I feel like there is a sense of mastery here, really focusing your intentions on making use of this energy. I also think that because we have that Mercury energy, which we know that Mercury or Hermes is the messenger of the gods. So you will use this in your message to the world. You know, if that is artwork, if you are a writer, you make music, you do, you know, maybe you're a coder or an engineer, a doctor, whatever it is, this will and is encoded into the things that you do and create, okay? And you are not a person that compartmentalizes your experiences, your you know, religious, spiritual, divine, and awakening, and understanding of something greater, more profound. This is not something that you put aside for a certain time. This is how you live your life. And so it kind of, you know, comes down into all of the lower parts of that beautiful and sacred tree of life. Okay, all of your spheres are colored by this, and you do not, I don't think that you even have the instinct to try to hide that. Or, you know, kind of, you know, I don't know, just make it something to be put away for certain times, which also is fine. Let me just say, I'm not trying to dismiss that kind of life. A lot of people work in, you know, career paths and things where, they live in communities where they keep their beliefs and practices and whatever private. And that is super valid. You know, we all just live the way that we need to. And maybe, you know, that's just how some people, they operate better without being witnessed, or, you know, just these things are for them. Nobody else needs to know about it. But I think for you, it's not really that way. I think this is kind of like you're about that life, you know? And so I see that you are going into a higher, well, if you could think like a higher degree, a higher grade of, or becoming just more intertwined with, you know, that spiritual path that you are on. I think that there are more and more discoveries being made. You are going deeper down those interior corridors. And I say corridors sometimes on here, and you might think, what is she talking about? But I think of our spiritual paths, our interior world. I like to use kind of the metaphor that Saint Teresa uses, which is that kind of interior castle or interior mansion. If you think of your internal life landscape, it's many things, of course, right? But if you want to think about it as a home, right? A house. And as you walk down the hallways, the corridors, there are many rooms. And the rooms contain different cycles of life, different archetypes. They are decorated in different colors. They have, so many sacred symbols and items. And, everything has some meaning to you, to your experience and your many experiences in many lifetimes. And so, it's not uncommon for people to have dreams of visiting the same homes. Throughout your life, you maybe go back to the same buildings. It doesn't always have to be the same one, but often they will be similar or the same. And these are places that we go to kind of, it brings us into our sacred work. Okay, when we need time, focus to work things out, we have blockages, or we're moving on to a new cycle in our life, whatever it is, we return to these landscapes. Okay, so, in things like active imagination, you can employ travel to these places, this home, and kind of intentionally use this as a sacred space to do interior work. Okay, so what does that really mean? I won't go into a lot of detail, but just doing things like, what if you could picture a sitting room? And that sitting room was where you go to be with your grandparents. In this room, there is maybe a fireplace, and on that hearth there are pictures. Maybe that's the mantle. On the mantle of the hearth, there are pictures of your family, of special moments that you maybe had with your grandparents. And maybe there is a chair and, maybe a table. And on that table, there are, maybe special items that maybe your grandmother gave you. Maybe it was a place that you went together and you saw something and there's a miniature of it there. Well, this is a place, and this is just a brief summary of some of the things that we can use in our active imagination. This is a place when you are thinking of whoever it is. It doesn't have to be a grandparent. Go to one of these rooms that gives you the impression, the sensation of being with this person that you are thinking of, and you go and you maybe look over the items. Okay, think about, how does it smell? How do they smell to you in your memory? Right? What kind of music maybe is playing far away from another room? What kind of music do you think of when you were with your grandmother? Your grandfather. I think of Louis Prima when I think of my grandfather. So anyways, these are just tools to access these parts of our lives. Now, there are many rooms, infinite rooms, right? Infinite things to work out. So many people to visit. So many things. And so this is why I talk about our corridors when I'm going through these readings, because in my mind, these are aligned with our spiritual path, but also our interior world. Okay, and let's see. This one seems important, okay? We have a group of people right here. If you can see, it looks like a Libra symbol. So, I feel that, and you can see these people, are they dancing? Are they kind of in a tangle? Is there an argument happening? Are there a lot of emotions? I have a feeling that somebody from your past, and I think this is somebody that is alive. This is somebody that maybe is a Libra, okay? But somebody you love deeply, right? But I think that they are not actively in your life. And for whatever reason, they have been coming up in your feelings, and you have been thinking that something is wrong with them. Right? There's just something, a feeling of dissent. Maybe you've looked them up online. Maybe you've heard something is going on with them. So I think that there is something worrisome. This could be health related. This could be, mental health related. Maybe their behavior has become erratic. Whatever it is, I think that you definitely are feeling kind of the ripples of this happening. Now, are they for sure a Libra person? No, I don't think it's for sure that. But I think it's interesting that the sign is right amid this kind of chaos here. Now, I talked about this in another reading yesterday maybe. I don't remember. But sometimes we can care for people, love people, want to help people, but we cannot be directly involved with them. Sometimes it's just, as we say in 12-step recovery, sometimes we go about making amends with people for our actions and so on. But if reaching out to this person is going to cause more harm to us or them, then we don't do it. But we make amends in that spiritual realm. We make amends in the way that we live, right? So I think that in this case, oops, I dropped my thing. In this case, saying a prayer, doing acts of goodwill. If you cannot be there for this person because it maybe will be destructive to your own mental health, or maybe make things worse for them, put that energy, that wanting to help, into something else that is productive. Okay? But I don't think that this is a good scenario to be tempted back into getting involved, because it feels like you yourself are going to spiral out. Probably emotionally. Okay? I feel like this is somebody who maybe is kind of lost, and I feel like, whatever it is, when you all get together, there's a lot of kind of just maybe bickering, arguing, going straight for, there's not any of the kind of ramping up. It's straight for the jugular as far as the words you say to one another. And so, not a place to go back to. Okay. I also think that when we have these kinds of feelings and we're worried, and, put it into helping others if you can. If you are somebody who maybe is inclined to volunteer or go out of your way to go be with somebody else who is in your life, maybe, a grandparent or something. Go visit somebody else who maybe could use the company. But also, I talk a lot about this idea of sublimation. This is where we put our feelings, our desires, our inclinations that are maybe if we activate them in our lives, they would be kind of destructive. Okay. A lot of times something that is brought up is like violence. Okay, so if we have an impulse towards some kind of violence, we use something like sublimation, which is taking that energy, that desire, putting it into the creative. I mean, look at music, art. Okay, these are perfect examples of the kind of base instinctual impulses of man, woman, other throughout the ages put into artwork instead of going out and, putting that energy into the world. So we put it into something useful, something that we can communicate. Okay, so this might be a good place to do that. Yeah, go lay down, buddy. Come on. Little Pudgy. He's trying to sneak around here. I can hear him. All right, so we also have the little flower here going up into this metaphysical zone. And really, beyond anything else we talked about here, I really just see that you have buddy. Go on. Go back to your bed. He's such a sly boy, this guy. I want him to be able to come up here, but it's just too much stuff now. I have too many things, you guys. So anyways, I think with the flower, you are really flourishing, okay? Mind, body, soul. Everything seems to be going pretty well. I think that, the thing that we got to focus on, being discerning. That's the big one, okay? Working on channeling some of those energies. Okay, so we have a nice little pyramid here, okay? A power sign, fiery, creative, sexual energies of the universe. The vitality off the charts. So, something else to keep in mind is that you're just kind of on fire. We have a nice balance, I think, of like the waters, right? You all are always in the waters, Cancer. We have the earth, and then we have the fire sign. So very good, very good. All right, so we're just going to look at these cards real quick. These are the divine doors. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of pick. There we go. Okay, so we have the moon through the doorway. Beautiful. Draw down the moon. The forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs. Find us in the wild. Good night. Yeah, well, the moon is forever tied to Cancer, of course, in my mind, and I imagine anybody who's conscious of it, their mind as well. And so, you all live beneath the moon all the time, no matter where it's at, or if it's gone. So I think, yeah, just really allowing yourself to journey down those corridors. Get into that imagination, I think that there's just a place that is so surreal that only certain alignments are just really can walk right into. And I think most Cancers are in that alignment. There is kind of a sense of almost bizarre, warped, beautifully so, though. I'm not saying this negatively. These are the creatives of the world, the thinkers, the philosophers, the great writers, and so, make use of that. Make use of it. Okay, Cancer, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much. You know, it is always such an honor for me to be able to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. The algorithm is our best friend. It kind of decides everything about how things go over here. So, if you if you're interested in helping with some kind of engagement, which that's what the algorithm likes, these are things like liking the video, watching the readings from the beginning to the end, sharing the readings on other social media platforms. Of course, you don't have to do any of these things, but I do like to mention them in case you do want to support the channel in some way. If you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And please leave a comment if you feel so inclined. If you're feeling brave. No, it's all love here. We all are very supportive of one another. There's a beautiful community within this channel, and you are always received with arms wide open. Okay, so I'm going to say thank you, and we'll talk in just a few days.